So far we've considered competency from the aspect of it being skills, knowledge, and largely the candidate's attitude. But we're going to look further at the 4 dimensions of competency. So on the surface, if we think about it in the analogy of an iceberg, you'll see the tip above the surface, and then there's, you know, the large dimension of it is actually hidden underneath the surface. So when we directly observe the task, that would be the task skill itself, but we have to think more holistically about competency and have a look at what's sort of residing a little bit deeper there. So on the right hand side, we can say that there's other dimensions apart from the task skill itself. There's the management of the task, and over here on the right hand side, this talks about that a range of tasks need to be managed in the correct logical order or sequence to complete the whole job. So that's why we don't just look at it performance criterion by performance criterion as competent. That's why at that level we're looking at a range of evidence as being satisfactory or not satisfactory. So we look holistically over the unit, because over the unit it's been designed for the dimensions of competency. So they have, you know, multiple elements that give you a range of tasks. They've built in contingency management skills within each unit, so there would be opportunities there to be solving workplace problems. So in our Certificate 4 in Training and Assessment, some of those workplace problems were, you know, allowing for reasonable adjustment if a learner has specific needs. You know, we've talked recently about OH&S and hazards and managing those problems. They're just 2 examples of that. Also, we need to look at competency more holistically from the job role, from the environment. So over here on the right-hand side, an example of that is satisfying the workplace standards. So when you have individuals coming to you for more generic courses, that's absolutely fine. You'd be giving them some case studies. But this applies especially when you have a client who is the employer that's phoned through, and that's when you need to be contextualizing your performance criterion to meet the requirements within the workplace. So not just the requirements of, oh, look, you can do some assessing between 6 and 6:30, like our case study of John. This is also more about, well, look, in our organisation, we use these resources. In our workplace, we have this standard operating procedure. So you would need to consult with a member of that organisation to contextualise and fully form your training and assessment direct observation checklists and questions to be more specific.